Bitcoin is a decentralized digital currency that was created in 2009 by an unknown individual or group of individuals using the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. Bitcoin operates on a technology called blockchain, which is a distributed ledger that records all transactions in a secure and transparent way. The history of Bitcoin can be traced back to a white paper published by Satoshi Nakamoto in 2008, which proposed the concept of a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. The paper outlined the technical details of how such a system could work, using cryptography to secure transactions and prevent fraud. Bitcoin was officially launched in January 2009. With the release of the first Bitcoin client software. Initially, Bitcoin was mainly used by a small group of enthusiasts and developers, but it quickly gained popularity as more people became interested in the idea of a decentralized, digital currency that was not controlled by any government or financial institution. In the early days, Bitcoin was primarily used for buying and selling goods and services online, as well as for speculative investment. As the value of Bitcoin began to rise, more people became interested in mining, which is the process of using powerful computers to solve complex mathematical problems and earn new Bitcoins as a reward. Over time, Bitcoin has experienced several major milestones and controversies. In 2010, Bitcoin was used to purchase 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoins, which was one of the first real-world transactions using the digital currency. In 2013, the price of Bitcoin surged to over $1,000 for the first time, but it later experienced a sharp drop in value following the collapse of the MT.Gox exchange, which was one of the largest Bitcoin exchanges at the time. Despite these setbacks, Bitcoin has continued to grow in popularity and adoption. Today, there are thousands of merchants and businesses that accept Bitcoin as payment, and there are also many individuals who hold Bitcoin as a speculative investment. So how does Bitcoin actually work? At a high level, Bitcoin is a decentralized, digital currency that operates on a blockchain. The blockchain is a public ledger that records all transactions in a secure and transparent way. Every Bitcoin transaction is verified by a network of nodes, which are computers that participate in the Bitcoin network and work together to process and validate transactions. When you send or receive Bitcoin, the transaction is broadcast to the network of nodes. Each node checks the transaction to make sure that it is valid and that the sender has enough Bitcoin to complete the transaction. Once the transaction has been verified by a sufficient number of nodes, it is added to the blockchain, which means that it is recorded in a permanent and tamper-proof way. One of the key features of Bitcoin is that it is decentralized, which means that it is not controlled by any government or financial institution. Instead, Bitcoin is operated by a network of users and nodes that work together to process and validate transactions. This decentralization makes Bitcoin more secure and resistant to fraud or hacking, as there is no central point of failure that can be targeted by attackers. Another important aspect of Bitcoin is that it is finite, with a maximum supply of 21 million Bitcoins. This means that unlike traditional currencies, which can be printed or created at will by governments or central banks, the supply of Bitcoin is fixed and cannot be inflated or devalued. This makes Bitcoin a deflationary currency, which means that its value may increase over time as demand for it grows and the supply remains limited. In order to acquire Bitcoin, you can either buy it on a cryptocurrency exchange or earn it through mining. Mining involves using powerful computers to solve complex mathematical problems in order to validate transactions and earn new bitcoins as a reward. However, mining has become increasingly difficult and expensive over time, and it is no longer feasible for most individuals to mine Bitcoin on their own. In conclusion, Bitcoin is a decentralized digital currency that operates on a blockchain, a public ledger that records all transactions in a secure and transparent way. Bitcoin is not controlled by any government or financial institution, and it has a fixed maximum supply of 21 million Bitcoins, making it a deflationary currency. While Bitcoin has experienced several major milestones and controversies throughout its history, it has continued to grow in popularity and adoption. Today, Bitcoin is widely used for buying and selling goods and services online, as well as for speculative investment. As the world continues to become more digital, it is likely that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies will play an increasingly important role in the global economy.